Good evening, everyone. Yes. So I am a little tardy this evening because I just finished a Tantra session. And as some of you may know, when you are doing a Tantra session, you want to make sure that your client is walking away healthy, happy, focused, stabilized. So, oh, hold on 1 minute. We got a little bit of a, let me make sure I got to do one more thing. I got to remember to always put up all of these different platforms and so forth. So, as you know, tonight's discussion will be about a high value woman. Some of us may not believe in such a thing or such a type of woman that's out there. And in all honesty, I'm hearing from a lot of people that they actually have never even heard of the term high value woman. And that has to do with the fact that this term high value man has been coined, and everyone is under the idea or the belief that we have a lot of high value men and no high value women, right? So I also want to say just a short little comment about exactly what it is to be a high value person. Just you're a man or a woman. So you see, there's that little echo that we always have. So I knew it was something going on. Oh, good evening. Good evening. How are you, Mrs. Tate? Good evening, pretty kitty cat. High value woman. Yes. So we usually hear this idea of we have high value men. And so people interpret this as men who are of financial value. That's usually what you hear. Discussion is about, oh, he's making over six figures, and so therefore he equals a valuable person, a valuable man to bring into my household, and therefore to bring into my life. However, when you consider that is all that you need in the person that you're bringing into your life, then you may be strayed the wrong way. And this includes women. So let's dive into this idea about a high value woman. And let me get on this other platform and type in the title, high value woman. And so I want you guys to entertain the idea of a high value woman and what that means for you in terms of when you're looking for a woman. So let's go. Let's get it started. I got a little video here I'm going to run for you guys. So there we go. So now, when we're speaking about a high value woman and what it is that you actually want, when we acknowledge and accept or idolize people because of their wealth or popularity, as opposed to asking what they have done for our community, then we don't hold them accountable for anything other than their money or their value. Oh, I got to loop it. I forgot about that. Hold on, let me loop it so it'll keep going. Here we go. Let's go with the other one though. It's more entertaining. So, then we don't hold them accountable other than the fact that they are popular or wealthy or rich. But if that's all they have to do to require to be a high value person, how exactly is that helping the community? How exactly is that helping you in your lifetime if you're with this type of person? I always try to refer back to people who are in our history who I would consider in the high value place. And so I'm going to talk about shortly about some men that I consider of high value. The first group is the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers, many of you know about, they actually took the time and the energy to feed our community. They made sure that they were there to protect our community. And I'm talking about armed protection. I'm speaking about men who pretty much it appeared as if they lacked fear. And so the idea was that they would do whatever they had to do, no matter what the cost was or the consequences. And so I also think about Malcolm X, who taught and protected the community. He also encouraged them to build and manifest businesses together. So, who's feeding the hungry today? Who's setting the example amongst the men today? So, with that said, who's setting the example amongst women? What kind of women do you consider to be valuable to you? What exactly is a high value woman to you? Is it a woman who has hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars? Is it a woman who has a great job? And when we look at these people and say that they're high value simply because of their finances or their money, what is it that we're not recognizing or acknowledging? Do we see different values in people? Exactly what does that mean to value someone? The regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. For example, your support is of value. Your love is of value. The fact that you have the ability to nurture someone and care for someone is what actually makes a woman valuable. Her principles or her standards, her behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. So, example, you internalize your parents' rules and values. So most of us grew up with certain rules and values and ethics within our household. Not everyone, but there are a few. And so when you look at her household and how she grew up and what she was taught, these become her values in life. So if you're with a woman who grew up in a household and they were taught, dinner is served at this time, the children need to, make sure their homework is done, you have to massage your man or make sure his laundry, whatever that is that she was taught to make sure that the household and the family was taken care of. That could be values that are in alignment with what you consider important. Today, what we look at is, and mostly what we consider in men, is the numerical value, the denoted by the algebraic term, the magnitude of quantity or number, an estimate of monetary worth. Most don't consider, when they're going into relationships, the morals, the ethics, whether someone is dealing with integrity or honesty. It's more about what we see on the outer beauty of a person. So if we're only looking at what's on the exterior, a beautiful body, lovely eyes, voluptuous lips, long, luxurious hair, then what about what's going on within that person's heart? Is she genuinely and truly a loving, caring, nurturing person? What about what's going on in their mind? Is she a person who's actually thinking about what you're working on for the future, what you're designing and building in your legacy? What exactly is going on within the mind and the heart is actually extremely important when you're choosing a woman for a relationship. Because this is the woman that's going to be by your side while you create your empire. And so if we're not looking at or desiring high value women, then the result will be a lot of conflict and chaos in a lot of these relationships. If everyone is just looking at someone sexually or physically, as opposed to looking at what's going on within their heart and their mind, then we're going to get the same results all the time. People breaking up, people not getting along, people name calling, and you name it, it's going on. So when we speak about morals, this is a concern with the principles or the right and wrong behavior. So if you're with a woman and you see her behavior is not in alignment with yours, so you already know what type of woman you want, right? So she's making the wrong move, she's doing all the wrong things. Is she doing all the right things? Is she saying all the right things? When you go into her house, how does her house look? Is her house clean? When you visit her, how are the children? Is she taking care of the children? Now, I am the type of person where I'm okay if a man in my family dates a woman with children, because my dad dated my mom and she had 3 children and then he had 3 sons. So pretty much the Brady Bunch. So I am a supporter of dating a woman who actually has children. Now, I'm not saying 5, 6, 7 children. I'm talking about if there's 1 or 2 children in the household and you really, really do love and care for this woman, and she is considered a high value woman, why wouldn't you consider her? Why would you toss that opportunity out the door as if you're going to go out here and find another woman with no children and think that she's of better quality? So when we look at these things, all of these things should be considered. When you walk into the house, how is she taking care of the children? Are they clean? How their bedrooms look? Are they fed? Does she make sure that the homework is done? And are they respectful? Is she respectful? What is going on between the dynamics of the woman and the child? And consider that if you have a child with her, then however you see her treat her children, that's how she's going to treat the child if you have one with her. So I actually encourage the men in my family to at least have a woman who has 1 child, because you get to see and observe how she's taking care of that child and the dynamics between her and that child. Not to mention, even though this is not the topic, y'all know how today is. There are a lot of women out here who are not actually women, meaning they were not naturally born women. And so the law is, because I'm always speaking about the law, legally, they're not required to tell you if they were natural born women. It'll simply be your responsibility to find that out. So if I was a man, and I'm not, but if I was a man, I would be comfortable dating a woman who had 1 child that she actually birthed. At least I would know that she's a real woman. And I'm actually speaking about this particular topic only because I know one individual who, how should I put this, was in a situation where the person was not a natural born female. And so he was misled to believe that he could have children. And so the conversation was never a discussion with this person as to whether they were even able to have children. It was just, they kind of, I guess, fell in love, and then they made love, and then they were dating. And next thing you know, one thing led to another. And when he was ready to have a child, that's when he found out that this person was never actually born as a female. And so for me, if I was a man, I would be happy to see a woman with 1, maybe even 2 children. And that's fine, because what we're doing is this society is teaching us to dismiss women with children. And so you never know what you're going to get. You never know what you're dealing with. So you're missing out on a great deal. I agree, Ms. Bliss. I think women with 1 or 2 kids, yes, can be high value women. Exactly. And I agree with you. So holding a lot of these high value women, they're holding or manifesting high principles, and they have proper conduct. They pride themselves in being highly moral and ethical human beings. They are operating with integrity and honesty. And so just look at the videos and the women. It's not a matter of if she has long hair. That has nothing to do with it. If she's skinny or round or plump, or you see how happy these women are in the video? They're just like within their own essence, their own being, their own energy. And so they can be by themselves or be with someone else. And when I say be by themselves, this should not be misinterpreted as some lonely woman sitting at home without a man. When one can sit with themselves, that means they can sit with silence, within silence, and then within silence, you get downloads and you get information as to what's going on with you and your energy, what it is that you need to do. You have the peace and the quiet to sit with yourself and say, okay, here's what I need to do. Here's how I need to move forward. Here's what's going to happen. When you're with the person or around the person who always needs other people around them, that is a sign that is a person that struggles with being alone with themselves. You see, when you are alone with yourself, that forces you to get to know yourself better. And people who hate themselves, people who dislike themselves, they struggle with sitting alone. So I find that a lot of these high value women that I'm around, they don't have a problem sitting alone. They don't have a problem meditating. They don't have a problem going to dinner alone. And they can date. They do date. However, these women, they're not just dating anything and everything, right? So, and why should they? Because they're very valuable. They have a lot to bring to the table. They're intelligent. They're soft. They're well spoken. Not all of them are educated now, because education is not necessarily a requirement unless this is something that you choosing when you're dating a woman. If you're saying to yourself, I want an educated woman, yes, then yes, that could be one of the requirements. But a lot of these women that I meet don't have a degree, but they're soft, they're loving, they're caring, they're nurturous, all of this. Good evening, good evening. How are you, Goddess London? How are you? And so when I'm speaking about a high value woman, I'm speaking about someone who is, you know what? I'm going to give you the definitions that we have from Tantra, and then I'll give you some more. So in Tantra, as you may know, we have 4 archetypes when it comes to women. We have the moon, right? And when you think of the moon, you think of flowing energy, you think of water, right? So a woman who is of the moon energy in Tantra, she's nurturing, she's caring, she's generous, she's maternal, she nurtures what is growing, and she's constructing the family. The other woman is a seated hawk. Now, a seated hawk is synergistic, imposing, intuitive, a right brain type of woman thinking. Okay, intuit to the plan. The other woman is the elegant rose. She is joyous, beautiful, sensual, artistic, carefree, arousing, giving, and generating pleasure. Redesigning reality, basically. And so the last one is the treasure chest. The treasure chest, unifying, prosperous, social, earthy, and matriarchal, constructing community, the harvest, and the abundance. So you have all of these archetypes. So the question is, and someone actually asked me this question, can a woman be more than one archetype? Haha, right? So people would think, oh, I've got to have one or the other, right? Guess what? A woman can be more than one archetype. Yes, absolutely. A woman can be more than one archetype, right? Love the description of the 4 archetypes. Exactly. And you know what I'm finding? There are women out here that are filling these archetypes already. They are. And so a little bit more about these archetypes. So when the moon, because these archetypes can be in a negative or a positive aspect. So I want to speak about a high value woman, which means that she's more in the energy of the positive parts of these archetypes. So the positive parts of the moon is more like the energy of a woman who says, I offer you my nurturing. I want to give what you need. I submit to you. Protect me. Be strong for me. So she desires a man who's going to take care of her and protect her, provide for her, and nurture for her. And she, in turn, would do the same thing. She's going to be there for you. She's going to be supportive for you. She's going to be the one that, oh, baby, when you come home, is everything okay? Rub your back. One of those women that's really sort of nurturing and loving and caring and huggy, probably touchy-feely too, So that's how I envision it. So the other woman, from the positive aspect, the positive energy, right? So the seated hawk, I am into it, the right plan. Set my plan into motion. So the seated hawk is a type of woman that sort of has a plan. However, this doesn't mean that if she's with a man who doesn't have a plan, that she wouldn't date him. So if she has a plan and he has a plan, then those plans can be merged together. They can work together. Or if he has a plan, then she could support his plan. Because the archetypes are these women that are developing themselves into being a high value woman. So you have women today, they may have pieces and parts of these archetypes. They may be one as opposed to two or three or maybe even four. So as women grow and learn and educate themselves and become more on a level of maturity, actually, they become this high value woman. So they bring more to the table in terms of operating with integrity and honesty and love and nurturing energy. They bring more to the table in terms of intelligence. They are women that are considered to be very valuable, a high self-esteem. I find the seated hawk to be very intriguing. Aha! Isn't she very intriguing? Let me tell you, everybody want to be the seated hawk. She got the plan. She's the woman with the plan. So the elegant rose. The elegant rose, from the positive aspect of the elegant rose, she says to you, I am pleasing. Look at this good stuff. I am ripe fruit waiting to be picked. Pleasure me, be pleased by me. So the elegant rose is definitely about showing her love, exuding her love, sharing her love, and anything in regards to love, I would pretty much say. And I guess what a lot of people might say is that a lot of women are sort of in the elegant rose, but maybe not really in a good way. However, I have met some women that are in the elegant rose and they have been in a good way. So there, I can't say that all women are this way. What I can say that there are some women out there that are like this. And so I avoid the idea that we always want to say all women are the same or all men are the same. I'd rather say some women are this way and some men are this way. When we use our words and we use words like women are da 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 da, men are da 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 da, that's generalizing because we all know it's not true. But when you speak these words, there's energy that comes out of these words and we project this energy on ourselves. So if you believe that all women are this way and you put in your mind that there's really no good women out here, then that's what you're going to manifest. That's what you're going to get. However, if you take the time and say, you know what? Yeah, some of these women are this way and some of these women are that way. And so I know exactly what type of woman that I want. I know what type of woman it is that I actually desire. And so you work with that and you put your energy out there to find her. It sounds easier than it actually is. but it's doable. I believe it's doable for a fact. So the last woman is the treasure chest. The positive aspect of the treasure chest. She says, I harvest the abundance through one common community. Hunt, gather, and build with me. And so the treasure chest is really about the community, the surrounding environment. She's concerned about the people in her neighborhood, the people that are around her children, the people, if she's sending her children off to school, she's concerned about what's going on in that school. If her husband is going off to work and maybe he has a dangerous job, maybe he's on the police force, she's concerned about his safety when he goes to work. She's concerned about what is being sold in the community, whether it's street pharmaceutical products, and y'all know what that is, or if it's good quality food at the supermarket. She's concerned about the protection in the community, who's getting medication and who's getting, what they need, who's getting nurtured. She's concerned about her environment overall. So you have the moon, you have the seated hawk, you have the elegant rose, and you have the treasure chest. And so women can manifest this energy of more than one of these archetypes. And high value women are very capable of this. So you see women today who, and I'm only speaking about high value women, by the way, you see high value women today who have a lot of these things. They have manifested a lot of accomplishments in their lives, and they have worked very hard. And I'm finding that whether these women have children or not, they're still able to accomplish certain defeats, overcome various blockages, and still create and manifest and become the women that they need to be, which is basically a good quality woman, which is what a lot of people say that they want, right? So if you dismiss a woman who has a child or two, then there's a possibility you could be missing out on a great opportunity to be with someone. Now, if she doesn't have any children, that's perfectly fine. However, these videos, these presentations of, don't be with a woman who has a child, don't be with a woman who's over 35, she's used, she's this, she's that. This is a projection of negative energy that's being portrayed in our community. And it's actually extremely toxic, because what's happening is that we're lacking love for our sisters. And this idea of she needs to be beautiful, she needs to be perfect. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And we're all beautiful when you look at our energy. So when you look at someone from the heart space, when you look at someone in terms of their intellect and their mind and the way that they think, the way that they figure things out, this is what is beautiful. And how they treat people, when they are around people, when they're at work, when you take them home to your family, when they are around their own family, if they have children and they're no longer with the father, how do they describe their relationship with the father of their children? How do they speak about the father of their children? How do they even speak about their exes? Let's say they don't have children. What do they say about their ex-boyfriends? Is it everything is him? He's terrible. He's bad. He's horrible. He cheated. He lied, as if she didn't play a role in the dynamics of that relationship. So if you're speaking to a high value woman, yeah, she probably absolutely could admit there were problems in the relationship that he brought to the table. But someone who realizes that they're not perfect would also be able to admit to say, hey, I did such and such also. And so that was my role. I wasn't perfect. I'm working on myself to be a better person, to be a better quality individual. And so that's when you start to realize, okay, she's able to acknowledge that there definitely was an imbalance in her previous relationship. And she's able to look at that and say, here's what I did that damaged the relationship. And then here's what he did. And so we're no longer together, but I'm taking the time to heal myself and to work on myself so that moving forward in future relationships, I would have a better dynamic or understanding as to what is required of me in terms of being a woman in that relationship. And so she can acknowledge that. Not many people can acknowledge what they're doing, the damage that they're doing. You know, not many people can look at themselves and say, okay, whew, I messed up. I did this. I did that. You like the elegant rose? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not many people. And so when you run into someone who can sit down and say, you know what? Yeah, I did such and such. I did so and I messed up and I'm trying to do better and moving forward, that's the plan. Would it always be perfect in relationships? Absolutely not. But if everyone's looking for a high value man, then why aren't you looking for a high value woman? They're out there. They're beautiful, they're smart, they're intelligent. They're exactly what you need and want them to be. You just have to put your energy out there to find them and to manifest them. And so I have something else I want to show you guys where it was one more video I thought. Okay, all right, we'll do this one. So, high value woman. So this is just a little video about high value women. They are intelligent. They observe people, places, and things. And so when I say they observe people, places, and things, that simply means that they are paying attention to their surroundings, where they're going, the buildings they're going into, the people around them, the people around their children. They pay attention to all of these things. Most of the high value women that I have met, they're fully aware and have a lot of knowledge in regards to legacy building. Now, some of them are building a legacy on their own. Some of them have husbands and they're building a legacy with their husbands. Some of them are not building a legacy. However, they know what a legacy is and they are desiring to have someone to build a legacy with. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Now, they are also creators and manifestors. So when I say creators and manifestors, I'm speaking about creating anything, creating whatever. So anything from jewelry to clothing to creating jobs if if they own a company or something like that, they're creators, they're manifestors. They won't accept just any old type of behavior from people. So usually when I'm around these type of women, they kind of they set like a standard, when they are around other people. There's a standard of the way you should carry yourself. So, for example, if you are sort of loud and rambunctious and, making comments, if you're argumentative and sort of like hostile, most of these high value women that I'm around would prefer to leave that type of environment, because you simply see that if you're around someone who's exuding that type of energy, that type of energy affects you in more than different ways. So you could be sad, you could be unhappy, you could be whatever the energy is that the person is presenting. So a lot of these women that I'm around, they're actually aware of this type of energy that is exuded from other people. And in all honesty, they prefer not to even entertain it or be around it. And so that's okay. It's okay, because we have to protect our energy and know what's good for us and what's not good for us. So that should be perfectly fine. And basically, that has a little bit to do with setting boundaries. Being able to set boundaries when someone's crossing the line, and being able to let someone know, hey, this type of behavior is unacceptable and I am uncomfortable. And so if this continues, then I would have to cease to be around you. And so that should be okay for them to be able to express that. Now, what is the other part? The other part is they will not tolerate toxic energy and negative environments. So there's a difference between toxic energy, negative environments, and tolerating a certain environment of people that is around you. So what exactly is the difference? So a negative environment could simply be a dynamic that someone's creating and they're presenting negative energy. And it could be a group of people. It doesn't necessarily have to be one person. So you can walk into a place and someone is cuddling up in the corner with another person, and maybe they're like, gossiping or something like that, or, whispering in the corner. Yeah, that's not really a good environment to be in, because obviously you know that as soon as you leave, they'll probably do the same thing about you. And so when you're around people who choose to spend a lot of time and energy gossiping about other people, that's not a good thing, because there are so many things in this world to speak about. You can be having a conversation about your children. How are the children doing? How's school? How's tutoring? What about uniforms? That is, if your child wears a uniform at school, were you able to find what you need? How's the diet if one of the children are on a diet? Like these type of questions. If one of the children is going through trauma, childhood trauma, which we all have been at some point in our lives through childhood trauma at some point, some way, somehow. This is just something that just happens, right? So what's going on with that child? Like a good woman who's nurturing and loving, she's going to say, well, how's that child? How are things going? Were you able to find a therapist? Would you even entertain, some type of psychedelic for that child? So she's trying to assist, because she's more of a person who cares about the community. And if your child is going to be around her child, then yeah, she wants to make sure that your family is okay and healthy and functioning in a good way. So you walk into this room and all you hear are women gossiping about, what is she wearing? What does she look like? How is she talking? What guy is she walking through the door with? These types of conversations are useless, in all honesty. And it's sort of like, you can see if a woman, where she's operating from in terms of her heart space. And you could also see from a woman in terms of where she's operating in terms of the way she thinks. So if a woman is thinking about, oh, she looks like that and she's wearing that and she's with this man, and then, oh, I saw her with this girl. Are these things important? I guess it would have to depend on whether you need to know the information or not. But more than likely, majority of the time, these things are unimportant, really. It's just more like gossip. So, a discussion about, oh, if you're having problems with your boyfriend or problems with your marriage, Should you be recommending something? Is there a special juice out here where you could help in this relationship? Is there a special herb that you could help to uplift the relationship and bring in the positive energy, or maybe even sexual energy with that marriage? So many things that we could be speaking about and sharing with one another, as opposed to sharing other stuff that's no good for or healthy for our environment or our relationships with people. So, what's the next one? They don't waste time or energy in bad situations. So, this is pretty much the same thing as what I just said, where if the situation is bad, or the person is arguing with them, or the person is sort of appearing to be like maybe a troublemaker, a person who wants to sort of create environments where it makes the woman uncomfortable, or it makes the man uncomfortable, or where it's sort of antagonistic behavior, or a bit of a narcissist, I guess we could kind of say. Also, someone who wants to create an environment or circle around you where they can kind of set you up and put you in a position where you feel less than, or you feel like you're belittled, or like you're not good enough. And so these type of energies, these type of people who come at you this way, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's a group environment, it's absolutely unhealthy. It's an unhealthy situation to be in. It's an unhealthy situation to want to sit in for any length of time. And so we have people like this that are in our family. And a high value woman would simply say, your family, okay, I would have to spend time around you at certain events, and that's perfectly fine. I acknowledge that. However, there's under no circumstances do I have to stay around you all the time. There will be buffers around, so that she doesn't always have to be around these type of people, because she's not going to entertain this type of energy. So they are nurturing and caring. So this goes back to them always looking out for one another, women looking out for other women, women looking out for the children, women looking out for the men. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a man that they're dating. This could be a guy on the block that they know. This could be an uncle. This could be their father. This could be their brother. And when they're nurturing and caring, they're also like, hey, did you eat today? Do you need a plate? I fixed some dinner. Or maybe the guy may need advice about another woman. And I communicate with the men in my family all the time about them dating and their dating escapades and their dating episodes. And we have to be willing to kind of give some insight to men as they're dating. Now, I will say that there is a bit of a game out here. And so some women will be upset if you're spitting game or dropping some knowledge that they don't necessarily want other men to know. So in that instance, they're not interested in protecting men. A woman who is truly nurturing and caring, she's definitely more concerned about men and their mental health, men in their physical health, and their psychological health, just overall caring and really nurturing and wanting to know if they are doing okay. So they're also interested in having the right connections. So what I'm noticing is that when I'm with women who I would consider high value, they're always looking for the right connections. So this could be a connection with men. This could be a connection with other women. This could be a connection with business in terms of business endeavors, plans and work. They're always looking for the right connections. So they're always looking for the right connections, then they're always looking for the right connections in terms of dating men also. They're really not just going to date anyone. They're really going to be a little bit more choosy in who they date. And so sometimes you'll see they may date someone and then you may see them not dating someone. And so a lot of times a high value woman has certain things that she's requiring when it comes to dating a man. She already knows what she's bringing to the table. She already knows her worth and her value. And if she knows her worth and her value, then she's not going to put herself out there to anything and anyone. She's not going to be out here having sex with Tom, Dick, and Harry. She's not going to be a community vagina, if there is such a thing. But you guys get what I'm saying. You get what, you know where I'm coming from. She's not going to have a man inside of her, if you know what I mean, inside of her, a different man inside of her every month, because she knows these are different energies. And not to mention, if she has children, it is extremely important that you monitor the men that are coming around your children. So if she's dating a different man and sleeping with a different man every month, what exactly could that possibly mean? It could mean a number of things. It could mean she doesn't really know what she wants. She's willing to date and be with anyone. She's not necessarily careful of who she's bringing around her children. She's willing to tackle and jump into relationships quicker than she can take the time to get to know the man. And so when she finds out after 3 weeks he's not the one, she's on to the next one faster than she can heal from the previous one. This is not a high value woman. A high value woman is going to take the time to get to know you. For her, sure, she might want to get in bed with you as quick as she meets you, but she's going to take the time to really get to know you and what you're all about and what you're doing, how you're moving. She's going to be watching how you take care of your children if you have children. She's going to say, okay, maybe he has 1 or 2 children and I don't have any children. So when we look at these situations and we say, I want a high value men, some of these men actually have children. And some of them actually have more than 2 children. So this is because we're only looking at the monetary value. So if you meet a man who is considered high value and you're only looking at the monetary value and he has 2 children and you say, oh, let's say he has a set of twins, sons, okay, boys, John and Tom. And you say, how's John and Tom? And he goes, oh yeah, they good. And so you go out with her again and she says, oh yeah, so how the twins, how are the boys? And he's like, yeah, they're good. And so she begins to realize this because she's a high value woman. If she's dating a man and she says, how's John and Tom? And he says, well, yeah, John is struggling in math and I got him tutoring. And Tom is in baseball and we had to go buy cleats for the baseball game. Now she's seeing, okay, he's more involved, because if a man cannot report to you what's going on with his children, in all honesty, he's probably not involved in those children's lives. And so if he's not involved in those children's lives and he's dating you and you have no children and you then choose to get with him and have children with him, what's going to happen when you're not together? She's observant of these things. She's watching all these things. She's watching how you move. If you are sitting there and how's your mom? How's your relationship with your mom? And you speak about your trauma with the mom, then she recognizes that and she realizes that you realize that you're not perfect and you have trauma and you need work just as well as she does. And so therefore she's willing to work with you as you work on yourself, as also you support her as she works on herself. Because in all honesty, nobody's perfect out here in this world. We all want perfect, but nobody's perfect. No one. We all look at people from the outside and we look at their lives from the outside and we imagine that their lives are perfect. No one's life is perfect. We all have drama and trauma and situations and things that we need to work through so that we can grow and become better human beings on this earth. That's the reality. And so if she's sitting with you and she asks you, how many women have you been with, or have you been tested lately? These are not antagonistic questions. She's concerned that if you was with someone 2 or 3 weeks ago, something could have manifested, an STD or anything else, that may not have appeared right now, but it may appear later. And so these type of questions show that she's concerned about her health, and she's also concerned about your health. And so she encourages a healthy relationship in that aspect. And people should be comfortable with this type of conversation. And I know that's a sticky conversation. A lot of people can't have that type of conversation because Lord knows where some of us been. Exactly. Exactly. Only Lord knows where some of us has been. And so they are also healers. So when I say healers, women have the ability to consciously and unconsciously heal people. We are natural healers in so many different ways. Some of us can just speak to people, have a conversation with people, and uplift them. That is a way to heal people. That is a form of healing someone. Some of us can have intercourse with someone and we can heal them. And what I find is that some women, they lack the ability to know how nurturing and healing that they are. I've been around some women and I've watched them date with men, and maybe I'd say 2 or 3 years into a relationship, he's like a whole different man. And I'm like, what is going on? He's not even the same person that he was before he was dating her. And so there's something about her that's causing him to heal. And when I say heal, I mean he could be healing in the term of health-wise. Like some of these women that I know that are dating men, they could be overweight and they could have a high cholesterol, high blood pressure, And so over time, next thing you know, he's working out, he's eating right, and he's actually concerned about his health. And a lot of this had to do with the woman that he was dating. I have seen men date some women, and overall, their grooming changes. So in the beginning, she's dating him, and he may be what one would interpret as his hair is unkempt. He's a little bit kind of messy, disheveled with his clothing at times. And he gets with her, and suddenly he's taking better care of himself. Sort of like she taught him the practice of self-care. And so now he's looking a little bit cleaner because he cares about the way that he looks when he's walking outside. And it has nothing to do with him, taking care of himself in this way because he's looking for another woman. It's simply a way of showing how you love yourself and you care about yourself. And she showed him how to do that. And that is a form of healing. I've seen women be around men and they get their financial game up. Oh, these are the brainy ones, y'all. These are the smart ones. These are the women that come and get with these brothers that already have a plan. And then some of them, they struggle with like manifesting the plan or getting the plan up and running or trying to figure out the puzzles and the pieces to the plan. And they come into these men's life and it's like, boom, 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 A, B, C. And I'm like, whoa. And like, usually I'd see this in like maybe a 4 or 5 year relationship. And I'm talking heavy hitters in the game, y'all, heavy hitters. And together they just click. So this is healing him financially. So a lot of these women are healers on multiple levels. You got healers in Tantra. You got healers in psychedelics. You got healers who deal with the spiritual realms. So we have so many different types of healers out here and so many different ways that we are able to heal. So we heal with our hearts. We heal with our minds. We heal with our intellects. We heal with our bodies. We heal with our wombs. We heal with our spirits. We have so many different ways that we are capable of healing people. So the last thing is They are supportive and loving. So supportive, I say supportive like if a man is doing something and he's lacking support from his family, he's lacking support from his friends, kind of the energy of people saying, oh, what is that? You're not going to be successful in that. And you're never going to be able to create this. And, that sort of thing. So she's there to show support. Babe, what do you need? What do you need me to do? What do you need me to partake in order to show my support for you and my support to you on your endeavors and your dreams? Now, it's so funny. There was a boxer that I saw a short video of the other day, and he lost the fight. And in walking out of the fight, the girlfriend wiped the back of his neck, and then she took her hand and she pulled his chin up, right? So she kind of like wiped the back of his neck, and his head was down because he lost the fight. His head was down. He was kind of looking sorrowful and sad and feeling down. And she kind of just picked his chin up like that, and wiped his sweat off. Like, you know, stand tall and proud, my brother. You lost the fight, but guess what? We're going to have many more. And I'm with you. I'm with you. I rock with you. And I was like, oh my God. And a lot of people noticed that. A lot of people noticed that she did that. It's uplifting to know that you have a woman beside you that is supporting you, that is loving you and rocking with you. And yes, the journey is going to be rough. It may be rocky. You may have some mountains to climb, but she's there for you and she's going to support you. And you're going to make mistakes. It's not always going to be perfect, right? And she's going to make mistakes. It's not always going to be perfect from her either. But what's important is that we try. What's important is that we make the effort to do better and to be better in our relationships. If we entertain the society that we have right now, where it's encouraging Black men and Black women to fight amongst each other, then what is the future going to hold? What is the future going to be like? If we entertain certain individuals, and there are a lot of individuals that are starting to pick up the idea that, you know what, I need to encourage love in my community. I need to encourage Black brothers and sisters to come together. I need to be more supportive, and I need to set the example. I've been hearing this and seeing this in certain groups, and I'm drawn to it because I agree with it. Now we have the other group. Yes, I see them, but I prefer an energy and an environment where our brothers and sisters are loving and nurturing and caring for one another. How are we going to manifest a good community, a good quality community for us and our people if we're hating each other, if we don't like each other, if we don't get along, if we're arguing about each other, we're gossiping about each other, if we're wearing this mask where we want to act like we're someone and portray ourselves like we're someone that we're not, when all we have to do is just simply be ourselves. And either you accept us or you don't, but no one's always going to be that perfect person that you're looking for. We're not always going to be able to attract that high value man or that high value woman in terms of financial. However, we can attract that high value person in terms of someone moving in honesty and integrity, someone who have the same ethics and morals and values that are in alignment with yours, someone who resonates with you and where you're coming from. You never know, right? In this dating world, you just never know. So I just wanted to do a video on high value women because I have yet to see a video on high value women. And I feel like this community doesn't even believe there's such a thing as a high value woman. But I have been around many of them and I know that they're out there. So with that said, I bid you all a good night. I thank you for showing up And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support. And I got, oh yeah, something about, I think I heard Joe Biden retired. I don't know. Or did he quit or something like that? I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, maybe I'll speak on that, but I'm not sure. That should be pretty entertaining considering the recent thing that happened regarding the assassination. So I don't know. Maybe I'll speak about that. Yes, exactly. Keep being the high value woman that you are. Oh, thank you. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Let me tell you, the journey has been something else. And I just have to say, I do the best that I can, and that's all I could say. That's all I could do. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So, hey, what we going to do, right? We're going to do the best that we can and move forward. And it is what it is. This is life, and this is the journey to bliss. And I will remain in bliss no matter what. And that's all I got to say. So, with that said, you guys, I bid you a wonderful night. And please share this video. If you know of a high value woman, share this video. And if she would like to come on YouTube and communicate how she is a high value woman with me, I would love to meet another high value woman who is definitely wanting to show what she is, what she's all about, what she's bringing to the table, and what she's doing. Absolutely. Ashe, Aho, Adonada, and good night, y'all. Mwah. I love you always. Farewell.